Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when we upload a new video. Follow us on Facebook at Take 5 Podcast. Thanks for watching. 5 and out. All right. What's up, YouTube? This is Take 5 Podcast. I'm Aaron Action.
I'm Chuck Nasty.
And I'm Dustin.
And I'm Matt Starr.
Today's topic is top 5 live albums. All right, Matt, what you got for number 5?
Oh man, my background's going crazy. That's not working. Well, so I don't have a lot of live albums in my list, but I think I probably am going to take someone's with this. But I think Kiss did a really good job with that trilogy, the 3-pack of the Kiss Alive albums.
Yeah.
So I think those were done really well. So should I put that whole 3-pack in my number 5, or can I only do one?
Hey, man, you're an American.
No, it's your list. You do it the way you want.
Yeah,
Rosie would approve.
Oh, Rosie would have had them number 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I just think that whole collection, like volumes 1, 2, and 3, I'm gonna put just as number 5 for me.
That's cool.
All right, that works. All right, Dustin, what'd you have for number 5?
Number 5, I got a band that we've talked about, but has never been mentioned on here as far as I remember. They were hot. This band was hot all through the 70s. They were known as a live party band, but they didn't hit with their commercial success until the early 80s. Jay Giles Band. They had 2 live albums come out in the 70s, Full House and Blow Your Face Out. And those 2 records have some fucking bangers on it, man. Whammer Jammer, Magic Dick, Must Have Got Lost, First I Looked at the Purse, just good, great live albums, party, rock type shit, man. Just, yeah, Jay Giles Band.
See, it's funny because, they're I always hear about that album as being one of the greatest live albums ever. I was never big into them, so I never really listened to it. But yeah, I've always heard that.
Yeah, because one night, me and Aaron, when we was discussing this topic, me and Aaron said, that's like the most common live album. Because even my neighbor was mentioning about, oh yeah, that's a great album. Like their best albums are live album. Like that's like the most popular live album.
Yeah, and they had 2 from the 70s. Full House is probably the more popular one, and the other one is Blow Your Face Out. But Blow Your Face Out, I believe, is the one that has Whammer Jammer on it.
All right. Trex, what'd you have for number 5?
All right. I have a little story behind this one. Aaron probably remembers this years ago. We were coming back when he was married. Me, him, and his wife, and our friend was walking down my street. And then we had these little hoodlums that I always got into it with. And they like picked up a giant rock, and one of them had a knife. And the only thing I had in my pocket was this album. Because Aaron knew what it was. He's like, what you got in your pocket? Aaron's like, that's funny because he's going to be live and screaming. Crocus live and screaming.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
I don't remember that. But yeah. That's funny. All right. My number 5, I was kind of debating. And so I'll use one as honorable mention. But I'm going to throw everybody off on this one. Duran Duran Arena.
Oh shit! All right.
But the main reason is because they do a studio version. That's when it was a bonus track was Wild Boys.
Oh yeah,
and that was always one of my favorite Duran Duran songs. So I would listen to that album just because I still have that on vinyl.
I actually like that song too, believe it or not, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Wild
song.
Boys, yeah. Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's funny because as a kid, I never liked him, but my sister always liked him. And, the older I got, the more I appreciate him.
Yeah.
I love Duran Duran. That song Planet Earth.
See, I don't know that
Yeah.
one.
That one's really good.
Which one?
Planet Earth.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that one either.
That's a really cool one. I mean, obviously, Girls on Film. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of good jams.
they were
Mhm.
huge in
All right,
the
Matt,
80s
what's up for
too.
number 4?
Come Undone. Another good one. Oh, me for
Matt, what's up for number 4? Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the before. I think it was before Guns N' Roses ever put out a real album. They did a live album, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah,
Kinda.
Like it
Kinda,
had that
sorta.
song that Reckless Life was on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like Live Like a Suicide. I think it was called.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
it
right.
was like it was live. The one side was live, and the other side was like studio.
That's right. Can I?
It's
I
funny,
love
but I almost had
Reckless
that on my list.
Reckless Life is one of my favorites.
Oh, does that count as a live album?
Album, but the truth is,
We could.
that was actually, here we go with this shit again. That was actually some of their demo songs that they were told by the label to put like a live crowd sound in the background. And from what I is
Breaking
demo
up.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still, everybody knows it as a live album, fuck.
Live album.
But and it's good, and it's fucking good. But yeah, that's what Live Like a Suicide, and that side was kind of how they even came up with that name, because they didn't want to do that,
Hmm.
but the label pushed them to do it. That's from what I remember.
Well, that's a gray area, but I guess that's what I have for number 4.
It works.
I said, Matt, I almost had it. The only reason I didn't have it is because it was only, 4 songs or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
four or
That's the only
five.
reason I didn't have it. Yeah. All right,
That's why I
Dustin, what's up for
coupled
number
on
4?
on my list, because they had a live side and a greatest hit side, so I didn't do them. The Swiss Sister I would have had, because they had a Decadence album. I wanted to put that on, but I was like, is the rules going to allow that? But you're cool, Matt.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin, what's up for number 4?
Number 4, I have one of for the heavy metal, hard rock stuff, probably one of the most classic known live albums. It's UFO, Strangers in the Night. That's a really revered live album. And so, all my music shit now is on YouTube Music. And so there's a deluxe version of that on YouTube Music that when they recorded like about a week's worth of shows, because I think most of the songs from that live album were from a Chicago show, but there were like a bunch of other shows in the area recorded that is on the deluxe edition, and there's some songs from Columbus. So it had to have either been the Agora, which we know now is the Newport, or I would assume like a Vets Memorial thing, them opening for somebody. But there's some live Columbus songs on the deluxe version of Strangers in the Night.
That's cool. All right, Trax, what'd you have for number 4?
All right. When I bought this album back in 1989, I didn't realize it was a live album. Of course, I should have read it. Halloween, I won out,
Mhm.
but I thought it was
Oh,
a good
cool.
live album because Michael Kiske is my favorite Halloween singer, and he played the crowd well.
Yeah, that's a good pick, man.
But like I said, when I first bought it, I didn't
Right.
realize it was a live album.
All right, my number 4. It's funny because this was my introduction to the band. My older brother had it on cassette, and I only knew these songs as live songs instead of studio. Cheap Trick live at Budokan.
Oh, another classic, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was probably in my 20s before I even heard the studio version of I Want You to Want Me, because, you know, the live version was always the one you hear on the radio, and that was, you know, that was the hit version of it,
Yep.
Yeah.
you know, and like,
Oh yeah.
and that's what got me into Cheap Trick. That was such a great record.
I think more people
Yeah.
enjoy that version than they do the studio version.
Yeah. Yeah, the studio is kind of poppy and, you know, like kind of plain. But the live version is awesome.
I agree.
All right, Matt, what'd you have for number 3?
For my number 3, I'm gonna go with the just because it's got such a cool experimental blues kind of feel. I'm gonna go with the Jimi Hendrix live when he first was seen, I think, in Monterey.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I think it was just called
Oh,
Jimi
yeah.
Hendrix live in Monterey.
That's
Yeah, you
cool.
can't go wrong with Hendrix live, man.
Yeah.
That's
Going
what I
back to
mean.
the roots.
He never played stuff the same twice, so it was always, you know, hearing him live was always different than on the studio album.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking before we started doing this tonight. I was chatting with Gary Sunshine, who, you know, we're going to have for the top 5 covers episode next week. And he, you know, I told him we were getting ready to do the live albums one, and he had mentioned the Hendrix Band of Gypsies tour at the Fillmore. So that's awesome. You picked another Hendrix live album, yeah. So Gary even brought up the Hendrix live at Fillmore, and he also said to let everyone know he's excited about doing this next week.
Oh yeah. So is Matt.
Gary,
Oh, hell yeah. You're in, right, Matt?
for that, yeah, I'm in for that one for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know you know the dude, and so that's gonna be cool, you know.
Yeah, we played a couple gigs together.
Yeah, that's
Guys will
awesome.
probably be talking about that on the show.
Yeah, and he got to open, his band got to open for someone really big at the Express Live. I'm trying to think who it was.
Molly Hatchet.
That's who it was. Yeah,
Molly
Yeah, I remember
Hatchet,
that.
Quiet Riot.
yeah, and I was just like, man, I wish he would have called me to fill in on that gig because he's asked me to do that in the past. I'm like, man, that would have been the awesome best gig for me.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I
Yeah.
wish he would have called me up on that one.
Yeah, that would been sweet. All right, Dustin, what'd you have for number 3?
Well, number 3, I've got. We talked about earlier. I was going to cheat a little bit. This wasn't necessarily a live album, but what it was a live broadcast. Back in '83, WMNW, and they always did these live broadcasts in the Agora Ballroom, which I think is an amazing room. It's small as fuck, and to have bands from the 70s and even 80s that did shit there. But there's a Fastway performance from '88 from that WMMS broadcast shit, and they were on fire that night, man. On fucking fire. Like, that should have been put out as an album, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Fastway. It's one band I never got to see.
Yeah,
Love that.
and this is in '83, so it's all shit off the first album too. So yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
fuck, it's good, man. Check it out, man, on YouTube.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we covered a Fastway song on one of our singles.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Heidi sang it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right, Trax, what'd you have for number 3?
Overkill, Wrecking Your Neck live, 1995. 'Cause I'm
Oh,
an
yeah.
Overkill fan, and Overkill is awesome live.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
We'll get a boo
gotta
on
have
this
Traxxas
one.
Back. No, I gotta have take Traxxas back on this, man. I like some Overkill,
Oh yeah. I
and
love it.
they were good live.
Oh yeah.
They should have done the soundtrack to Spaceballs.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some booze on this one. I know it.
That movie can't get no worse. So
At least
All right.
Dustin's got my back.
my number 3. All right, my number 3 is Misfits Evil Alive.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
The version of We Are 138 with Henry Rollins is so
Yeah.
good, man. It's so
Yeah.
good. All right, Matt, what'd you have for number 2?
For number 2, I'm gonna go with that AC/DC live album they put out, If You Want Blood.
Fuck yes, bro.
Like that one was killer.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
That's something I
yeah.
figured Dustin would have on his.
Well, we'll get to that.
All
Probably
right,
his
Dustin,
number two.
and what's your number two?
My number two is actually, I don't if you guys know this, there was a live Junkyard album put out. It was called, I think they called it Shut Up, We're Trying to Practice. And it's the last show they did on a full tour in 89, the last show of that tour in 89 in Los Angeles. And that live performance, man, and number one, it sounds amazing for a live album. Because I think we all agree a lot of live recordings just sound like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The band might be playing, good, but just however the recording, but even the recording of this is fucking amazing, man. So yeah, that live Junkyard made my number two, man. And it's all shit from the first album, a couple covers, a ZZ Top cover, a Ray Charles cover, and I think they might even do one, maybe two songs that ended up off the next album. But check that out. I'm pretty sure it's called Shut the Fuck Up, We're Trying to Practice.
Nice. All right, Trax, what'd you have for number two?
All right, I'm gonna feel like Rosie right now because I gotta put Alice Cooper on my list. A Fistful of Alice, because that's my all-time favorite, and his live album is good.
When did that one come out?
97.
Okay.
I remember the tour for that one. That was when it was at Polaris because he opened up for Scorpions.
Oh shit, okay.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause there
remember
was
that tour.
I think there was an Alice Cooper live album from the 70s also.
Yeah,
And I think on
Alice
the cover,
Cooper
he's
show.
got with the real big toothbrush on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's funny you mentioned that because, like I said with Cheap Trick, my introduction to Alice Cooper was my brother had Alice Cooper show on cassette.
Okay, yeah.
Which was live, and that was my introduction to Alice Cooper also. So I could have had that one on my list as well.
He had like 3 or 4 live albums.
Makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
All right, my number two, Ramones, We're Out of Here.
Makes sense.
This is also it was a live album, but it was also released on VHS at the time and DVD. But it had Rancid they did guest vocals on 53rd and 3rd, which was awesome. Lemmy came on and they did the RAMONES Ramones song with them, and that Eddie Vedder was on it. So hey, they had a lot of guests on, and it was so good. But I think what made it so good because I also had the video to it, so you could watch it too.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet.
I have to check that out. I
That's
don't.
what
I
they
don't
should
think-
do to all live albums. Have a video of it.
Yeah, check it out, Matt. I think you'll dig it.
Yeah,
It's probably on YouTube, I imagine.
yeah. I don't have many live albums. I realized that when.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what'd you have for number one, Matt?
Oh man, well, it's a good thing Sam's not on tonight because
Oh no! Don't tell
I'm
me.
going with it takes me back to when I was learning guitar and stuff. I'm gonna go with the Nirvana Unplugged album as my number one.
Okay.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I was inviting you, I also messaged Sam. So good thing he didn't take this one. He'd been like, "Oh, Matt, really? I don't like Roxy May no more."
I just feel
Yeah.
like all the styles of music you can like a ton of different genres. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you swerved me because I thought you were going to say the bringing Sam up like Iron Maiden, like the live Number of the Beast or whatever. But yeah, you swerved. me,
yeah.
man.
No, because Sam he doesn't like Nirvana at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as Matt said
He
Sam,
lets
I was
it
like,
know.
we got the same
Yeah.
one. Dude, that Kurt's vocals in that, man, oh my God, it's so much emotion behind it. You know what I mean? It's so good, man.
Yeah.
And that was like, go ahead.
And I was just trying to think, like, what live album have I listened to the most, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I've probably listened to that one more than any live album, hands down. And it's like when I
I
was,
agree.
yeah, and like when I was learning how to play guitar, like that album was just, you know, I was playing with those songs all the time. So that's just gotta be my number one.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
see,
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because I actually like those versions of the song better than the studio versions. You know, like it's so good. Like About a Girl, oh man, it's so good. And then the cover of Where Did You Sleep Last Night? Oh my God, his vocals were so good in that song, man.
Yeah, a lot of those.
So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
That means I gotta change my number one then.
I knew it. I knew it.
But that's my number one. But the one I traded Duran Duran out for, I'll make that my number one. Okay, Dustin, what you have for number one?
Well, my number one is back to me cheating a little bit. Was a live performance from AC/DC, and I was gonna bring up the If You Want Blood album, which is their true live album, and that's awesome. Matt brought it up, but so there's a live performance, a broadcast of the show AC/DC played. I want to say it was 77 or 78, and it was in Nashville, where they played for this like record executive party, and it wasn't even like a show, not even like really a concert. You know what I mean? It was for all these record execs, and the guy that introduces them as like AC/DC power rock, and Bond comes on and he just fucking takes control and he's like, "Quiet, aren't you?" He's like, "We'll change that," and they just fucking go into it and just total silence. You don't hear shit, and he makes comments in between it, like clowning people, like, "Oh, y'all weren't ready for this." But once again, they still played as if they were playing for 50,000 people, and it might have been like 50 people. A bunch of record execs that may not even gave a fuck. But yeah, man. AC/DC with Bond and the live album Matt mentioned also. Good shit, man.
Yeah, like just the energy.
Yeah.
All right, Trax, what'd you have for number one?
All right, I kind of went to cliche on this one. Iron Maiden Live After Death, 1985. I mean,
Yep.
That is the album that got me into Maiden like big time, because before I heard that album, I wasn't really big into them, but when I heard that album, it changed my whole opinion on them. So, yeah. I know it's a
Yeah, see, I knew
cliche.
somebody would say Maiden, so.
Yeah. All right, Aaron.
All right. My number one, since Matt took mine. No, it's cool though, because that Midnight, that's the greatest live album ever. I don't care. So
we can't do a show. We can't do a show without someone taking someone's list anymore. It always happens.
So my number one is what I switched out with Duran Duran. It's funny, I had it my number 5, and me and Trex just talked about this album today, so I took it out. Slayer, Decade of Aggression.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah, that was so good. Because like I was never the big Slayer fan, but like I started liking them around Season of the Abyss.
Yeah.
And then then they came out with that live album, and I was like really into them at that point. And I think that's a great record.
I agree, man. Yeah. And Lombardo's still on drums on that. So yeah.
Let's say, I mean, what I heard of it's good, but I'm not that big into Slayer, so I couldn't really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're not into like the the heavier thrashy stuff like that, are you? Too much. I'm not either. So
I saw them when they were at Rock on the Range like a few years back. Like I watched their whole show. Like it was cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, so I like them. I just don't like. They're just not one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. All right, Matt, you have any honorable mentions?
For live albums, oh man, I listen to so little live stuff. So you guys can pass on the honorable mention on me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I already said mine. So Dustin, what you
Yeah,
got?
I don't have any.
I've got a few. Well, I got a few then.
All right, go ahead.
Well, like I said, just before we started doing this, I was chatting with Gary Sunshine, and he had brought up the Hendrix at the Fillmore. Well, I had, as an honorable mention, even prior to talking to him, there was a Fillmore East and a Fillmore West. And Bill Graham is who operated those, and those were very well-known venues. You know, the East one was in New York City, the West one was in San Francisco. There's one that I had an honorable mention for was Humble Pie rocking the Fillmore, and I believe it was the Fillmore West, because a lot of people, man, I think the more the years go by, don't realize how important Humble Pie is to what became, you know, hard rock and what have you. I also got
Well, hold on, before you go on, you mentioned Humble Pie. Peter Frampton Live was always like considered
I got
one of the
honorable
greatest
mention. Yep.
albums.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and that's a great that you tied those two together. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that Frampton lot comes alive is like, it may still be like the biggest selling live album, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
I believe it was. But some other honorable mentions I got on here.
He's the master of the
Aerosmith.
talk box.
Say what, Matt?
He's the master of the talk box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Carrie will appreciate this one. Aerosmith live bootleg from '78. That was an actual live album. Thin Lizzy live and dangerous. That's another classic live album. Thin Lizzy live and dangerous. The UFO, Strangers in the Night, Frampton Comes Alive. Those were all huge live albums. But the Kiss ones that Matt brought up, those were all huge live albums in the 70s. Another Ted Nugent. There's a lot of live Ted Nugent. I know, like I said, love him or hate him. A lot of live Ted Nugent stuff. And also, another broadcast performance thing. I know I mentioned WMMS up in Cleveland did those for a while, but Z-Rock used to do them. And a lot of the Z-Rock broadcasts were from a couple clubs in Dallas, because Z-Rock was like headquartered out of Dallas. And there's a Dirty Looks one from a club called Dallas City Limits. And that's actually where I saw Babylon AD and Trouble Tribe in 1990, was at Dallas City Limits. This Dirty Looks Z-Rock broadcast that's fucking fire also, man. And that looks about all I got for honorable mentions, man. So there's a few there.
Yeah. Trax, you have anything?
I don't remember the name of it, but we talked about it earlier. The Twist Sister live album. The one.
Well, there was a couple of those. There was like a live at Hammersmith.
That's it.
Yeah, that
Is
one.
it? Is that
That's
it? Okay,
yeah.
Then
I got
there
that
was
one on CD.
Well, there was another. I don't know if it was a live album, but I think Trex may have said it. There was some live songs.
There
or
was
something.
their greatest hits, but like their decade thing. But one side had like 4 or 5 live songs, and then the other side.
And from the real popular club in the UK that even Guns N' Roses have some live songs from.
Yeah.
I cannot think of the name of it right now, but these Twisted Sister songs.
I said, I know what you're talking about. It starts with a D.
It may.
Because there's a lot of live shows from that's always filmed.
Yeah. Recorded. These Twisted Sisters.
Donington or something like that?
What is it?
Donington?
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, though.
Oh.
Donington was a festival.
Okay.
What I'm talking about was a club. There's a real small club that was infamous in the UK, and it's driving me crazy. I can't think of the name of it, but these Twisted Sister songs were I believe the first time they ever went over to the UK, and I think Lemmy even does guest vocals on a Stone song with him. And that shit's good, man. Why can I not remember the name of this? There's live Metallica shit from this place. Do you all know the live Guns N' Roses, the Whole Lot of Rosie song, the live version of that?
Yeah.
This club I'm talking about, that's from that club, the recording from that club, and I feel like an idiot that I can't remember the name of it, man. So this is what happens,
see-
Matt, when you get old.
Well, see, it's funny you mentioned Guns N' Roses. If Live at the Ritz
Yeah.
Yeah.
was like an official CD, that'd be the
Yeah.
greatest live album ever.
Yeah,
I mean, I have those songs on my phone. I like the live version better than the studio. Like, I was never like an official album, but man, dude, that was greatest concert performance ever.
yeah,
My
They were on
Michelle was
fire.
really good on that one.
Yeah, it was so good, man.
it's so good.
Slash
I'm
was a
looking
little
up now
Yeah.
to see if I can
What's that?
find. Well, I'm looking up now. You guys go ahead. I'm looking up now to see if I can find the name of that. The Marquee Club. Fuck, that's it.
Oh yeah.
The
I know what
Marquee
you're talking about.
Club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was
so
in
many-
LA or something.
No, it's in London, I believe. Yeah, the Marquee Club, man. That's where I was thinking of. Yeah, a lot of good live recordings from there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other ones, Dustin?
Man, I'll think of them immediately right when we, sign the fuck off. But that's all I got for right now, man.
Tracks?
Not really a live album, but a live song I liked was Anthrax. I'm the Man, like the
Oh,
super uncensored version.
Oh yeah.
When it
Yeah,
says, we're being recorded, so say fuck.
yeah,
We're not supposed to cuss. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
really an album, but some live performances that are on like extras and stuff I always liked.
yeah.
Matt?
Yeah, that's a good
Got
one.
anything, Matt?
For live albums and I mean, I've not really. Like, I'm gonna go listen to that Duran Duran. Say hi to my buddy.
What up, Kitty?
Hey,
That's Shining
What's up,
Star.
Cat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
when you gonna make a
Well
live
done.
album, Matt?
What's that?
When you gonna make a live album so we can put it on this list one day?
I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe. I hope sometime. Shining
They have
Star.
to get out playing again first.
Yeah.
I know, man.
All right, we're about out of time, Matt. Do you have anything to promote? I know you're not playing right now, but do you have anything?
Just to like, anyone who's into like straight up rock and roll, just to listen to Roxy May on Spotify or YouTube us or listen to us on iTunes, anywhere. So
Awesome.
yep,
All right, anything else?
That's all I got, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
that's all I got.
All right, thanks for coming on, Matt.
no problem. Looking
Five
forward
and
to
out.
next week.
Hey,
All
next week, yep.
Yeah.
5 and out.
5 and out.